So these are the brand new earbuds from Bose, but of the hundreds of earbuds I've tested, I've never seen anything like these. I mean, when I opened the box, like, I kid you not, I didn't even know how to put them in my ears. I had so many questions about these earbuds, like, how do you wear them? Are they secure? Are they actually comfortable with this weird new design? Do they have active noise cancellation? What do they sound like? Like, the list goes on and on. So these are the Bose QuietComfort Ultra Open earbuds, and the name tells us a lot about these earbuds. I want to go over these though in the list of questions that I had when I first got them, and maybe you have the same questions as well, but starting off with the first question, how do you even put these things in your ears? Like, they don't look anything like a normal pair of earbuds that we're used to. So looking at the bud itself, it has two solid pieces and kind of like a rubbery piece that holds them in shape. So on one side, you have a little cylinder that has the button on there, it has the battery on the inside, has 3 nodes on the bottom, that's how you charge it. That goes on the outside of your ear. Then the other side, that's kind of like a boot shape, that goes inside your ear, and the rubber between is very flexible. So you open it up, you put the boot shape inside your ear, kind of like behind your earlobe here, and then you kind of like let go and it just stays on. It like seems, it's a lot easier than it sounds. Like, when you first put it on, it looks like it wouldn't work, but it's actually really comfortable. And as far as aesthetics go, I thought it was going to look a lot like an earring or some type of clip on my ear. And when you're up close, like, that's what it is. So of course it looks like that. But from a distance, I asked people what they thought of my earbuds, and they said, like, what do you mean? They look like normal earbuds. Because interestingly, they kind of do look like normal earbuds that are in your ears. So as far as the aesthetics go, I was surprised they didn't look as weird as I thought they did. They also come in 2 different colors. This is the black color, and there's also, like, I think they call it white smoke. It's like a white color as well. But the second question I had, is it actually comfortable, right? Like, it's just such a weird way to clip onto your ear. And actually, these are probably the most comfortable earbuds I've ever worn. I could definitely wear these all day long, substantially longer than any other earbuds out there, for a couple main reasons. One, they are open earbuds, so they don't clog your ear canal, which means your ears never get hot, your ears never get sweaty, you don't have any type of ear canal fatigue either, because there's nothing pressing in your ear. And this part of your ear on the outside where it kind of grabs onto, it grabs very gently, and also that's a part of your ear that has very little feeling. Like, try it, just pinch your ear, and there's not a whole lot of feeling there. So these, super comfortable. In fact, I forget they're in my ears a lot, and even when nothing's playing, like, sometimes I wear them for longer than I think I should. So that's question number 2. Question number 3 then, are they secure? Like, do they stay on your ears? I could picture something like this falling off if you are working out or just kind of doing something that is a little bit more complicated than just sitting at a desk. And again, I was pleasantly surprised. This design is really turning out to be pretty solid here. And to be clear, like, this video is in no way sponsored, I promise. These, like, I thought I was going to have a pretty negative review of these, but the design is pretty solid. Like, I went for a run with these the other day. I ran 3 miles, and I never adjusted them once. I will say this, though, when you first put them in, you may need to do a little bit of adjusting to get the sound right. If you put them in your ears and one's like a little higher than the other or a little lower, the volumes can be slightly different. And so for me personally, it's really important for them to match. So I'll adjust them around. You can actually slide them up and down. There's some play. You could probably move it maybe a 1/4 inch up or down. And so everybody's going to have their own unique fit. And at least for me, it's pretty easy to get that right. And like I said, once I was running, they didn't move, they didn't wiggle, I didn't have to push them in. And because they have a physical button on the back, like I said, and we'll talk more about that later, like, running and controlling that was actually really easy. Like, if your hands are sweaty, you don't have to worry about touch controls or anything like that. Question number 4 then. How do they sound? Like, okay, once I got to this point, I was comfortable with them, I liked them, they're secure, but the sound quality of open earbuds is generally a step below the typical silicone ear tip earbuds that go deep in your ear. For these, the volume was surprisingly good. Like, typically a lot of open earbuds, like I said, you really need to crank the volume. Usually they lack a lot of bass, but these, that's not the case. I played it usually around 50% volume, sometimes even lower, and like hearing your surroundings, if you're in a quieter place that is, I found that the volume was really quite pleasant. If you're in a really loud environment, like I walked alongside a really busy road, and I had to turn the volume up for sure, you're obviously not blocking anything out around you, but in that environment, you kind of want to hear your surroundings anyway. That's why you would wear these. Maybe you're like a cyclist, you're biking on the road, maybe you're running on a road, and you just want to hear when cars come by you. That makes sense, and that's going to be kind of important in that situation. But if you plan on like flying and you want to block out sound, or if you plan on walking alongside a road and you want to like block that out, obviously open earbuds are not going to be the best earbuds for you. These are meant to hear your surroundings. But getting back to the sound quality itself, these do have Snapdragon sound, so they should give you the highest resolution codecs if your phone is capable of handling like aptX lossless and stuff like that. They also have larger drivers on here. I believe it's 12 millimeters. And the sound, like I said, it's clear, it's focused. You got a nice clean bass line on there. It's not going to be like really thumpy and head shaking, but it definitely still delivers a very good, pleasant amount of bass. It's much better than any other, probably almost any other open earbuds I've tried. I can't say blindly say any others because I didn't test these exactly side by side with the AirPods 3, but that kind of leads me into the next question I have for you guys. If you have any other earbuds that you think I should compare these to, leave that in the comments below. Like, these are so unique. Should I compare them to AirPods or the Bose QuietComfort Ultra closed earbuds, or like what do you want to see? What should I compare these to in the next video? And if you haven't already, get subscribed so you can see that video. I definitely plan on making a lot more content with these. But again, getting back to the sound, it doesn't quite sound like the audio is in the room with you like I thought it would, but it also doesn't sound like it's in your head like most earbuds. It's kind of somewhere in between, and I actually really like it. Like, the audio feels like it's personal for me, not in the whole room, but I can still hear all of my surroundings, which leads me into the next kind of cool feature with these. Typically, I hate spatial audio. Immersion mode, like, everybody advertises it. It's so important. Everybody gets it. And I understand, like, a lot of people like that. For me, I think it's a useless feature. I absolutely never turn it on. But there's something about having open earbuds and hearing my surroundings a little bit more that makes spatial audio, or immersion mode as they call it, just like way more convincing. Like, it's really well executed here, and I actually turn it on quite often. In fact, the other day, and this sounds like a fake story, but I promise it's 100% true. I was walking outside and a new song came on. In the beginning of the song, there was like a siren sound in the background, and I actually looked over my left shoulder. Like, I thought there was a siren coming from behind me. This was very, very convincing and really quite impressive on how well that was executed with these. Now, the drawback, of course, like I said, is that you don't have the best isolation on the sound here. Obviously very weak. Loud sounds are going to impact your listening experience, and in a louder environment, that's going to be something that you need to be aware of. Now, the next question, what about sound leakage, right? If I'm wearing these, they're not plugged in my ears, so can somebody else hear my music? So let's get into a test right now, and you'll see for yourself that it's actually surprisingly pretty good at only delivering sound to the ears that it's on. All right, so for the sound bleed test, I'm holding my iPhone at an arm's length away. I'm using my iPhone just so you guys have a reference at home for what the microphone is like on this. And an arm length away, I think, is probably a good reference for how close somebody might realistically get. It's kind of rare people are like sitting much closer than that to you, unless you're like on a subway, in which case it's a loud environment anyway, and sound bleed's not really an issue. So let's start off at 25% volume. That's really where I end up listening to most of my music with this. So I would suspect you probably can't hear it on the video right now. Let's go up to 50%. Now this is reasonably loud. Like, this is probably as loud as I would go normally in a quieter environment, and you probably can hear it from 2 feet away, but just barely. Now going up to 75%. This is very loud. I feel like I really have to yell to hear myself over this. This is really like, I definitely wouldn't even listen to this loud normally, but maybe some people do. So this is the sound bleed you get from that. And now I'm gonna go to 100% for a couple seconds. I hate doing that. It's too loud, but you definitely can hear this, I'm sure, because like, it's loud. All right, the next question I think a lot of people might have, one that I saw a lot in my DMs on Instagram because I put this on my story a couple days ago. Do these have active noise cancellation? The answer is no, they don't. I know that the Galaxy Beans did, or the Buds Live as they call them, but it's not really like real ANC anyway. It didn't block a lot, so these don't even try to do that. They're not trying to cancel any noise. They're meant to be open earbuds and hear your surroundings. All right, so now let's get into a mic test. So these are the Bose QuietComfort Ultra earbuds, the Ultra Open earbuds. I'm gonna mix that name up a lot, I know it, but I'm in a studio environment now. So if you're on a phone call, this is probably as easy as it gets, but this is what the microphones sound like. So let me know what you think. Now let's actually go outside in a louder environment. Now you're not always going to wear these in a louder environment, but it's worth testing the microphones in a louder space just to see how they actually performed there. All right, so I'm outside. It's pretty loud out here. There's a lot of traffic behind me. It's also a little bit breezy. So I think this would be a pretty tough environment for these microphones. Of course, I can hear all my surroundings, so I might be talking a little louder than usual, but I can obviously hear my voice just fine. So there's no weird robotic pass-through mode or anything like that. But let me know how these sound to you, again, outside in a loud environment. Now, next question, how do you actually control these? At first, I thought maybe you'd have like swipe controls on the outside in this little spot. You actually don't. Instead, like I showed you in the beginning, the button's like behind your ear, which is great. You're not gonna have any accidental touches. If you ever do adjust this, I naturally grab on the outside and kind of slide it around so you don't accidentally press the button. And without touch controls, like I said before, they work when you're, like if your hands are sweaty, if they're wet, if you're wearing gloves because it's cold outside. So for working out, for running, this is really an optimal design in my opinion. You can also press the button once to play pause, twice to go forward, 3 times to go back, and you can also customize the press and hold function within the app. So that kind of leads me into showing you the app anyway. The app's pretty simple. It's a classic Bose app here as we're used to. We have modes. Instead of turning on ANC and stuff, it's really just going to be, do you have immersion mode like surround spatial audio or not? Stereo is the other option, just hearing left, right, of course. We also have source, and so these don't actually have multi-point connectivity, at least not right now, but they do have a really cool feature where you can connect to multiple devices, and most Bose products do this, and then I could just toggle with these switches which device this is actually connected to. So it's kind of almost like having multi-point connectivity, and you can also customize the button to switch for you. So again, if you're on your phone and you're getting like a video call on your laptop or the other way around, you can just press and hold one of your buttons and it'll switch devices. I think that's kind of a good workaround. It works well enough. These have Bluetooth 5.3 though, so I would like to see multi-point connectivity, but this execution is kind of good enough in my opinion. We also have immersion audio over there, so you can choose how the immersive mode is. So if you want it to be still like just in front of you, and when you turn, the music's always right there, or the media, whatever you're watching or listening to. The other option is motion, so it's always kind of in front of you. If you turn, it lags, and then it comes over in front of you. Or you could just have it off if you just always want the sound to be in both ears, stereo mode, no matter where you look. The shortcut, like I said, you can customize the touch and hold for the left or the right. You just tap on the top there, you can choose which one. And other than that, if we go up to settings, you can like update the earbuds. Not a whole lot more in the app. It's a pretty simple app, but I think it gets the job done for these earbuds. Now, as far as the battery life goes, I'm not surprised that it's a little bit lower than some other ones out there, but it's still quite impressive compared to like AirPods, for example. You're getting 7.5 hours per earbud and 27 hours when you include the case. You get a little bit less if you have immersive mode on. Without active noise cancellation, I was hoping for a slightly longer battery life, but who knows, maybe the larger drivers and like the spatial constraints they had here just kind of limited how big the battery could actually be. As far as durability goes, I think that, I mean, there's some concern about maybe the rubber over time might wear out, but I really don't think that's likely. The amount of times you take this on or off your ear, you could even bend this a lot. Unless you're like freezing this thing and then doing that, I don't really think there's any possibility of that getting damaged, at least not in my opinion. Only time will tell. They also are IPX4 water resistant. Not great, like if you drop them in a puddle, it's not ideal, but for rain and sweat and stuff like that, definitely should be fine. Okay, so now let's do a quick test. I haven't actually done this test yet, so I want to see if they have autoplay and auto pause. So if I take them off my ears, unfortunately, they don't know that they're off my ears. It seems that the music is still playing. These do not have an auto pause feature. I don't really mind that unless you are like listening to a podcast and you take them off. I don't think I really take these off nearly as much as other earbuds because I can always hear my surroundings, but it's worth knowing that at least right now, I'm not seeing an auto pause feature on here. So now let's talk a little bit more about the case design. I'm really happy with this case design with one glaring exception. So the case, I think Bose kind of struggled with cases for a little while. They always made these gigantic cases like the Bose QuietComfort earbuds, the QuietComfort earbuds 2, and even the Ultras kind of have a fairly large case. This is definitely more compact, not the smallest I've ever seen, but certainly pocketable, and I'm happy with that. On the back, you can see we have our button there for pairing. On the bottom, USB Type-C. Of course, a hinge on the back. Pretty straightforward. LEDs on the front and on the top when you open it. But the big problem here is that, as you can see where that button is, there's no wireless charging on these. I think that's kind of a big drawback considering the price, which I'll talk about later on, but these, I think they need to have wireless charging. I think in 2024, not having wireless charging on a premium pair of earbuds is kind of a big miss. I think a lot of people in this price category willing to buy this probably charge their phone around the home and other products with a wireless charging pad. That's what I do on my desk. So it's annoying to have to plug this in, even if it is only like once or twice a week. As far as mono mode goes, let's actually get into a test for that. I haven't tested that yet either. So if I just take out just the right earbud, see if we can play some music. Yeah, okay, we got some music. Now I'm gonna take out just the left earbud. I would expect these to work well with mono mode, considering it is Bluetooth 5.3, but it's still worth testing because it's kind of a unique design and not everything has that. That's not good. Okay, it looks like these don't have mono mode. It looks like if you take just the left earbud out, it's not connecting to my phone, and it looks like you have to wear both. I don't personally see myself wearing just one at a time, but if you wanted to do that, at least from my testing right now, it doesn't look like you're able to do that. So let's kind of summarize with some pros and cons of these earbuds. Starting off with the pros, and you might be wondering as well, like, why would you get open earbuds? They're great for biking or running when you need to hear your surroundings. So if you're on a road, that's really important. Additionally, spatial audio on these works better, in my opinion, than basically any other more closed design out there. For me personally, I actually really like the spatial audio on here. Other benefits, there's really no cleaning necessary. These aren't going in your ear, so you don't get any kind of earwax or anything gross on them. It's also more hygienic for sharing. So if you want someone else if you're sharing earbuds with somebody, rather than having, like I said, like you don't have to clean these earbuds as much because it's on the outside of your ear, which is definitely a lot cleaner than the inside of your ear. Your ears also never get hot, so they're more comfortable in my opinion, and they don't interfere with a lot of jewelry or glasses. If you did have jewelry like on the side of your ear, maybe it would interfere with that, but I think a lot of people, a more common spot would be maybe the top of the ear or the bottom on the lobe, and in those situations, again, these really shouldn't interfere. You can also adjust where it is on your ear. I don't have piercings, so I actually can't test how it interferes with that, but other people told me it's really not a problem. They also give you a 90-day warranty, kind of a little hidden positive here. I think because it's such a different design, it makes sense to have a longer warranty. People are going to want to try this out, and maybe they're not so confident if it's definitely the right thing for them. So kind of relieves a little bit of the pressure when you're buying this to know that you have 3 months to try it, and if you don't like it, you can just return them at the end of that. Now, there are, of course, some drawbacks, though. Really 3 big ones in my opinion. One of them, I have to tie this one in. One of them is that if you're listening to music and there are surrounding sounds, it does impact your listening experience. They're open earbuds though, so that's not really a big drawback. Like, you know that going in. That's really what they're meant to do. But the other drawbacks are definitely real ones. The second drawback is that they don't have wireless charging. I really wish they had that. And before we get to the third drawback, kind of another mini drawback is that I noticed if I'm getting a call, I kind of, at least for right now, it's like, it takes me 2 hands to put them in my ears. I think in time I'll get better at putting them in, but it just takes an extra beat to put them in your ears. Anyway, the third drawback, in my opinion, is the price. Bose is premium, and we know that. They're expensive products, they're well made, high quality, and there's really nothing else on the market like this. But $299 is not a small ask. Like, that's a lot of money for a pair of earbuds. But if you like the design of these earbuds and you really think that could work well with your lifestyle, the alternatives out there are either AirPods 3, which for me give me some ear fatigue and it's just like a big stem in your ear. You have the Sony Link Buds, which are really cool, but the sound quality is definitely lacking a little more bass compared to these. And otherwise, not a whole lot out there that is kind of like these. So $299 for Bose earbuds like this, I don't know. You can leave a comment and let me know what you think. As always, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. I'm Mike O'Brien. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in that comparison video next.